Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. In this video I will explain the exponential form of a non-zero complex number. Z equals R into cosine alpha plus I sine alpha is the trigonometric form of a non-zero complex number, the R, E, I, alpha. So we have three forms of a complex number: algebraic, trigonometric, and exponential. The simplest form is the exponential form, REI alpha. Only one term. Write that in exponential form. Z equal 3 cosine pi by 6 plus I sine pi by 6. This is the trigonometric form of a complex number. Then this Z is written as 3 into EI pi by 6. When the complex number is written under the trigonometric form, here we have the modulus and here we have the an argument. So we write it as R into EI alpha. Write the exponential form of the following complex numbers. Z equals 2 minus 2i. Modulus of Z, radical x square plus y square equals 2 radical 2. Cosine alpha equal real Z over modulus Z equals 2 over 2 radical 2 radical 2 over 2. Sine alpha equals minus radical 2 over 2. An argument of Z is minus pi by 4. We are in the fourth quadrant. So how to write Z in exponential form? Modulus EI argument. E minus I pi by 4. Z equals minus 5i. The image of this complex number belongs to the y negative. To the negative y. So the modulus is 5 and the angle is minus pi by 2. 5e minus I pi by 2. Z equals to I, modulus of Z equals 2, and an argument of Z is pi by 2. Pi by 2 is an argument of Z. Here, an argument, not argument. If we have to write the argument of Z, we have to write minus pi by 2 plus 2k pi. This is an argument of Z. An argument of Z is pi by 2. Z equal minus 7, modulus equals 7, and an argument is pi. 5 belongs to the x, to the positive x, and argument 0 is, an argument is 0 is and the modulus is 5. Minus 3i. Here we calculate modulus of Z. Modulus of Z equal radical x square plus y square equal 3 radical 2. Cosine alpha equal 3 real Z over modulus of Z equals minus 3 over 3 radical 2 minus radical 2 over 2, and sine alpha minus radical 2 over 2. Then we are in the third quadrant, pi plus pi by 4. Pi by 4, then Z is written as 3 radical 2 EI 5 pi by 4. We can take 3 radical 2 common factor. We got 3 radical 2 into minus radical 2 over 2 minus radical 2 over 2. So to get rid of the minus in cosine and sine, we use pi plus alpha, and 3 radical 2 common factor. Minus radical 2 over 2, this is cosine pi plus pi by 4 plus I sine pi plus pi by 4. Directly, without calculating cosine alpha and sine alpha. Z Z equal minus radical 3 plus I. Modulus of Z is 2. Cosine theta equal real of Z over modulus of Z. So we are in which quadrant? First, the angle is pi by 6 because the sine is half. And we are in the second quadrant, pi minus pi by 6. Pi by 6. Z equals 2 I 5 pi by 6. Rules. EI alpha is cosine alpha plus I sine alpha. E minus I alpha, we have to substitute alpha by minus alpha. So cosine minus alpha plus I sine minus alpha. Cosine minus alpha is cosine alpha, but sine minus alpha is minus sine alpha. So cosine alpha minus I sine alpha. If we add EI alpha and E minus I alpha, plus I sine alpha minus I sine alpha cancelled. So cosine alpha plus cosine alpha equals to cosine alpha. And if we subtract EI alpha minus E minus I alpha, we get 2I sine alpha. From EI alpha plus E minus I alpha, we get cosine alpha equals EI alpha plus E minus I alpha over 2. EI alpha plus E minus I alpha over 2 equals cosine alpha. And sine alpha, EI alpha minus E minus I alpha over 2I. Example, sine 3x equals EI 3x minus E minus I 3x over 2I. EI pi by 3 plus E minus I pi by 3 equals 2 cosine pi by 3 equals 2 times half equals 1. The rules, product of two complex numbers in exponential forms, modulus times modulus, argument plus argument. Ratio, modulus over modulus, argument minus argument, to the power Rn, Ei, and alpha. Ei and alpha equals Ei alpha to the power n leads to what? Ei and alpha is cosine and alpha plus I sine and alpha. Ei alpha to the power n is cosine alpha plus I sine alpha to the power n. And from this equality, we can conclude many rules in trigonometry. Cosine 2 alpha plus I sine 2 alpha is cosine alpha plus I sine alpha square. Expand cosine alpha plus I sine alpha, cosine square alpha minus sine square alpha plus 2I sine alpha cosine alpha. What do we conclude? Cosine 2 alpha is cosine square alpha minus sine square alpha, and sine 2 alpha equals 2 sine alpha cosine alpha. So we conclude two rules in trigonometry. Thanks for following and good luck.